a pleasure to welcome you, Dr. Mickey Mehta. Request you to please be the moderator of this session. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So, how could we ever start this session without recognizing and honoring Ma Hansaji Yogendra, who's the only lady yogini cum Devi of yoga, and there is second to none in the world, I must say, and the oldest yoga institute. I'm so privileged and honored. So, let me tell you a small story that darkness once knocked the doors of Lord Brahma. Hey, Brahmadev, I have a problem with Suryadev. So Brahmadev said, what is your problem? So darkness said, wherever I go, Suryadev follows me and destroys me. So Brahmadev said, okay, let me call Suryadev and let us confront each other. So Brahmadev then requested Suryadev to come across and said that this is the problem of darkness that you have been chasing her away. So Suryadev says, please bring her before me. The moral of the story is that darkness doesn't have its own existence at all. Whatever we need to do with light. If you want to turn darkness away, we have to switch on light. If you want to bring darkness in, we have to switch off light. It's within us to remain switched on always. And this is the role of the Yoga Institute, which it has been playing relentlessly for 102 years, keeping the light of yoga on. So the ignorance and darkness of mankind has been alleviated to a great extent. And now with this act of Nispan, I am sure we will achieve alleviating darkness not only from 7 billion hearts and minds, but also across multiverses. So 25th December becomes very significant for the West because Christ was born, and for the East because the Yoga Institute was born. So for the West, the significance of cross, and for the East, the yoga's biggest boss, the Yoga Institute. And now I take it forward. So my first question to you, all you doctors, much louder than life, I'm the smallest doctor on the panel. Forgive me if I make any mistake. My respect and regard and honor to you all. So my first question, anybody can take it, but I request you all, very, very succinct, like 1.5 minutes each, so that we can go across everybody. So when I spoke about darkness, pandemic is the new darkness. And when I spoke about light, yoga is the oldest flame burning bright. What are your comments that yoga's capability of giving immunity for humanity forever? So any one of you can start and just your hands up and unmute yourself. And then you start. I will ask you directed questions later. So Shashankji Joshi ji, Professor, Doctor, welcome you to start this.
So Namaskaram, Mickey ji, Hansa ji, and everybody on the panel. I think pandemic is not darkness. Yoga has shown us the light of the way. COVID is all about the lungs, breathing well. If you do your pranayam right, if you do your kriyas right, if you do your asanas right, you have a way of life. If you have that way of life, which is the yogic way of life, or the yoga as they say, I think you can be COVID free. And even if you get it, you can survive it. Even post-COVID, you can do very well. So I think you have to breathe life. And yoga teaches you to breathe life. And there is no darkness. There is only brightness when you talk and think and practice yoga. Thank you.
Amazing, Shashank Saab. I mean, nothing better could have come out of your heart and mind. So my question number 2, which I would request somebody to field and take, that I always tell people that have breath for breakfast. Because when you have breath for breakfast, when you soak yourself in the sun, there is light, there is combustion, and there is this life force, urja, prana. How many of you doctors believe that breathing is fundamental to life and breath could be your first medicine? Okay, ji. Mam Tora ji, Pradumna Mamtoraji, doctor, please.
Right. As yoga has been teaching us for thousands of years, yes, the bioenergy through the breath is going to be the core issue in improving the health, and it does keep the whole light on, as you say. And all those people who have been able to generate a great healthy lifestyle have been people, all the rishis have someone who have always had the control of their breath, and watching breath can be one of the most relaxing things in life, and can be be a streamer to get you into the middle path where you can stray off. Just start watching your breath and you can start stabilizing. So I believe yes, whatever the yoga has been teaching us about controlling breath has a huge bearing on all our existence.
Amazing. Very, very well said. Yes, Ravi Saab, Chittal Saab, please, you may please also speak on the same.
Well, the whole beginning of the journey, I'm a unitologist. I bring babies out from the mother's womb. The first smile that comes on our face when the baby starts breathing. So breathing, I suppose, indeed is the beginning of life for us. If the baby doesn't cry, baby doesn't breathe, we all start getting anxious. And it's not surprising that babies do much better, even if they're infected with COVID. They are much better off than adults with all the problems of metabolism or bad habits or smoking or stress. Babies are not stressed. They breathe easy. They're born to breathe and they continue breathing. The only problem in babies, they get infected, they transmit the infection without suffering from it. So I agree with you completely and wholeheartedly. Breathing is the main issue over surrounding COVID. Thank you.
Dr. Shekhar had also put his hand up. Dr. Shekhar Saab, please may we request you to put your comments.
Yeah, of course, most of the things have been already said. So I may have very little to add. Only thing is, yes, breath is everything. I mean, if somebody, like people walking on the road, it is shown on TV sometimes that somebody drops down. The first thing that we look at whether the patient is person, I would not say patient, is breathing or not. Breath is everything. Well, people try and say that I control my breathing, but control also has to have discipline, which yoga gives us. Controlling breathing doesn't mean just stopping breathing. Some people say that I can just stop my breath for 1 minute, 2 minutes. That is not yoga. Breath is for your life, and to have discipline, well-structured breathing is certainly all life. And that's certainly yoga.
Yes, Harish Saab, please.
Well, yoga resets the body and the mind all the time. It's a reset button, which is absolutely essential. It lights every cell inside the body and does not differentiate from one cell to the other. Yoga connects us with the cosmos, with the universe, and helps us in reconnecting in a disconnected world.
Excellent. I wish and hope all the medical doctors of the world are hearing this. Our 5 panelist doctors, genius. Thank you. Now my next question is to everybody. So before that, Bruce Lipton, he is the leading biologist scientist of the world who came out with a doctrine which says
biology of belief.
Yeah, that your belief can change your biology because our intentions, attentions, and thought, they imprint on our DNA, and DNA, then carries out the command system and then expresses itself. So Dr. Bruce Lipton says your belief can change your biology. Dr. Mickey Mehta says your faith can change your physiology. And Dr. Mickey Mehta also says that your breath can change your hormonology. Meditation and prayers can change your emotions and psychology. Now, I have addressed every doctor here, but before I go to the other doctors, I want Ma Hansaji's pearls of wisdom on what I've said, and Ma Hansaji to lead us with light on the comments I've made. Ma, to you.
Well, I'm so glad to hear all these things so well. But when people start controlling their breath, they forget that they should not do it for long, because body knows its matters very well. Body knows how to balance its affair. You are just trying to see that you are getting more aware about your breath. And the moment breath is disturbed, you should know what to do. Yoga talks about mind superseding body. If mind has a will, body will have. Mind has a faith, body will cooperate. But if mind is disturbed, upset, then it's going to affect your system. And so that immunity, what you were talking about, breath, all that, if we want to really become aware of, we have to become aware of our mind. And so we have to deal with our mind well.
So I think great, Ma. I mean, you're the only one who would have thrown best light on this. Now, each individual, you have around 45 seconds because somebody is doing endocrine, somebody is in psychiatry. So whatever I mentioned, belief changes your biology. Your faith can change physiology, hormones can change your psychology, breath can change. Even once again, your hormonology. So please.
Patanjali is the greatest mental professional. It's not was, he is. And why he is? What he absorbed from the cosmos, the gyan from the cosmos, without doing a double-blind crossover study, Anubhuti, has been now proved by experience, by research, and Anubhav. From Anubhuti to Anubhav, and it took 2000 years for the West to hug yoga because they saw what it can. What is very important to me as a psychiatrist is that the balancing act, which Ma Hansaben just said, of the various dravyas in the body is so essential to bring equanimity and peace. As a psychiatrist, it is so important to understand that yoga is not the dessert in a dinner. It is the dinner itself. And that is what we need to absorb.
Amazing, Harish Saab, amazing. Shashank Saab, would you like to do some Vishesh Tippani, as I hear that you would want to rush for some commitment? Shashank Saab, please.
No, I'm good. I have cancelled my commitment, moved it to one.
This is the importance of yoga.
So I'm good. So as you said, belief is a narrative. Narrative is something which people want to believe. But we are in an era of evidence-based world. And yoga generated the first evidence base more than 8,000 years back. Dr. Harish said 2,000, but I would say it was more than 8,000 years back. And it's a way of life. And if you practice that way of life, the yogic way of life, you have 4 steps in which you have a kriya which cleans your body. You have a asana which makes the right posture. You have the pranayama which cleans your lungs up and makes you breathe well and keeps you happy. And finally, you have the dhyana, which is meditation, which makes you at peace and calm. So I think, Mickey, all of us have one goal and one aim, which Hansa ji has taught us, that be happy, be healthy. And yoga is that way of life.
That may every doctor and medical professional under the sun embrace yoga for himself, his self-evolution and evolution, and then start a yogic revolution. Okay, so anybody else? Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Chittal, say something.
Well, I can only say from baby's point of view, and I consider that babies are the biggest yogis.
Yes.
I mean, the posture inside the mother's womb, when they come out, the flexibility they show is amazing. In fact, many of the asanas are in fact replicating what the babies do naturally. I wish we would stay like that forever. It's only our wrong way of habits and doing things in life which make us so much unlike babies. I wish we were like babies in mind and in body. And I really consider they are the biggest yogis who can teach us so much.
Exactly. Let me tell you, I'm interfering.
Please.
There was one lady who says, she was pregnant. She was 7-8 month pregnancy. And she sends a message saying that I want to do Shirshasana. I want you to help baby. I sent a message that babies are doing Shirshasana in their stomach in any case. You don't have to do any asana for baby. You better take care of yourself and learn to handle your mind, calm your mind, learn to be happy, and do simple postures, which I recommended. So such things, very true, Chittal, that they are very flexible.
Amazing.
Yeah, Dr. Ambadekar, please.
Yeah, carrying forward from whatever has been said, like babies are the real yogis, as Ravi said. And as we start growing older, by the external influences, we start changing ourselves. And then we make all changes which attract bad things to us. Of course, we can learn. We have a choice of learning good things, but the bad things influence us more and more. Talking as a cardiologist, all bad things influence the heart in a bad way. We were talking about hormones. If the hormones are not controlled well, that creates all problems with the heart. And then heart in childhood has actually it has no other meaning. When you grow younger, it has a particular meaning for you, dil to pagal hai and whatnot. But as we start growing older, then heart generally means disease for everybody. And that all happens because of the external influences. And when we can control these influences in a positive way, we can certainly keep your heart healthy. And that is what the yoga teaches us. Yoga is not therapy. It actually tells us how to lead life so that you don't get diseases and you lead normal life.
Very, very nice. Kichad mein kamal ki bhati. So, yoga makes you kichad mein kamal ki bhati. I think there's one doctor still to go.
Yeah, Mamtora.
Yeah, Mamtora.
So the thing is that when we were talking about this changes that everyone is talking about, how it changes, I think from the orthopedic standpoint, I will look at it as a musculoskeletal problem. So what I would say yoga teaches is becoming aware of the postures. Now that postures would be physical. When you are using too much of screen, are we going into the right direction? Are we keeping our postures correct? Are we doing things in the right way? And postures here, what is your internal posture? Because those internal postures are the start of diseases. Once the internal postures start going awry, the external postures will also go awry and disease is created. Once yoga is put in, it makes you self-aware of what your body is, what your mind is, what nature is doing to you, and what age is doing to you, and how you can improve the internal posture, thereby bringing a balance and improving the harmony, which will then improve your posture physically and ultimately help prevent orthopedic problems or treat orthopedic problems and make you better. So again, yoga comes back to a way of life, trying to teach you with a balance. With balance over here or balance at the physical level.
So yoga means huge, and yoga is asanas. Asana is a posture in poetry, so fluid yet very dynamic. And is a seat and a seed of consciousness. As you open the body, so does your mind open up also. As your body becomes open to possibilities, your mind becomes open to possibilities. Dr. Harish Shetty is laughing because he knows the next question is coming to him. So let me tell you, Manushya jo man ka mara, Purush wo jo prakriti se purak hota hai. तो जो मनुष्य मन का मारा है, उसको कैसे हम प्रकृति से पूरक बनाए? क्या ध्यान से, योग से पुरुषोत्तम राम बनने की संभावना है?
We're all in a journey, and maybe in this birth or next birth or in next million births, we might become what you just said. But the point is, in my experience with children, when I go to schools, which I've been going for the last 2 decades, what is extremely important is that children who practice yoga very early in life, in the 10th standard, they are very calm and composed. Globalization and industrialization killed our equanimity. It brought us material appliances, which are very useful. It brought us technology. But building a balance of equanimity and scientific evolution is the need of the society. मन जो है वो पहले से ही यदि योग क्रिया में इन्वॉल्व हो तो उन्हें मानसिक तकलीफ होने की संभावना बहुत कम होगी. योग is not a retirement activity. Yoga is not an activity for the bored, for those who have a lot of time. It is an activity right from birth, from womb to tomb, and that is something we should not be ashamed to share, announce loudly around the world, and that I think is very important.
My next question goes to somebody who will say that faith or believe that faith can change physiology, because the word स्वास्थ्य में कहीं पर आस्था छुपी है. Self belief, self conviction, आस्था, faith, the driver. So who would like to take this question कि स्वास्थ्य में आस्था छुपी हुई है और योग वो आस्था को जड़ से मजबूत करता है और उसके फल लगाता है.
Shashank wanted to say.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Let Dr. Mamtora go ahead. No, Mamtora, go ahead.
Sir, okay. So faith is everything. What happens is today we are living in a age where we want instant gratification, and hence faith goes down. We have faith in a 60-gram tube of a Bengay, or we have faith in a Google which gives us the answer which is not correct. But yoga, which has taught us to have faith in the higher reality and having faith in our general self, to our each and every cell of the body has the capacity to heal. It has the capacity to come out of a disease. Can we generate and improve that faith? That is the essence of a lot of hormonal changes through the brain, which secrete those small things which improve the as they put it as psychoimmunoneuroendocrinology. Ultimately it all generates a situation where the body will respond to a equanimous mind, as they say, and that generating faith is, I think, the crux of all interaction between doctors and patients. I think we need to improve upon that, and I'll be touching upon this topic whenever it comes, that we are going to very soon encounter artificial intelligence. I just hope it doesn't get stumbled on human stupidity.
So, very well said, Dr. Mamtora, instead of psycho, neuro, immuno, endocrinology, should we simply call it yogalogy? One word, or should we call it Yogagiri? Because instead of Dadagiri, let's make it Yogagiri. And Yogagiri is, equivalent to everything, and great perspective. But I think before Shashank Saab comes in, I want Ma to put her two pennies of wisdom inside, just a little, that how faith can drive and change everything.
Well, it's been said very well. I have to just add one thing, that swastha word itself means swa, to get sthit with your own self. And trying to see that first all of us have to understand who am I and what we are and why am I here into the world. And so here we talk about, I would say I have a body, but I am not the body. I have a mind, but I am not the mind. I have to take care of my body. I have to take care of my mind. So who is this I? So this I is consciousness, me, myself with it. And that, once I am in touch with that, then naturally mind is calm, alpha wave level, all hormones start secreting well. And that's why the Yoga Institute is launching this app. That person has to learn in any situation. Boss is shouting and you are sitting there, you can't even get out. You can't even take a glass of water. What are you going to do at that time? What meditation? So all such things, practical approach to life, how to live. That's why the Yoga Institute is aiming at that. And we have to understand that once we become aware of our own self, I'm disturbed, I should do something about myself. and then educate why I should not get disturbed again with the same situation. It is management and uplifting yourself. Both have to go together, and that would make life beautiful. So faith in higher reality has to be there. High reality, consciousness, you may use the word God, you may use the word consciousness, you may say Atma, you may say Chaitanyata, you may use any word, but it has to be there.
माँ very well said कि स्वयं में स्थित, स्वयं में उपस्थित, स्वयं की उपस्थिति होना और होने देना. So yoga is not about controlling, it is about letting it be, letting it go, letting it restore, letting it become whole. So medicine cures, don't mind me doctors, medicines cure but yoga heals. Okay, now we can go to other
Yes,
doctors.
that's a good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dr. Shashank.
So as Ma has very rightly said that we are in a digitally intoxicated world, and yoga probably is the best detoxifier today. I put it very simply: for body, mind, and soul. Our body, mind, and soul are all discharged like a mobile phone. And if you want to charge your cell, your mind, your body, and your soul, if you practice the right way, yogic practices, it will charge you again. It will make you self-realize your own self, love your own self. And today is actually Vaikuntha Ekadashi. It is also called as Moksha Ekadashi. It is also the Gita Jayanti. And ultimately, we want to ascend the spiritual planet, which is Vaikuntha. And ultimately, we want to attain moksha. Yoga is that way of life which charges our body, our mind, our body, our soul to attain via Vaikuntha moksha.
Wow. So yoga is in the principle of divinities. And the embodiment, we could call it God. And yoga can make us or enable us to rise above gods and fall below animals. Because if we don't do yoga, we will fall below animals. And yoga will help our evolutionary ladder go higher and higher. Anybody else? Okay.
Yeah, we were talking about faith.
Please.
Talking totally scientifically, if I forget everything else, only talk of faith, whether it works at all. Okay. It has been amply proved by various studies. With faith, what happens medically, scientifically, is some hormones are secreted. If I had to give only one example, some endorphins, which give you a lot of immunity also, which gives you the strength which is required. Like we have seen during COVID days, people who have very positive mind, they got COVID, but they say, no, I am going to come out of this. Yes, doctor, give me treatment. I am going to come out. They actually had no problems. And we saw some other individuals who had right from beginning, मुझे तो कुछ होने वाला है, गड़बड़ होने वाला है, ये हो ही गया, doctor, I am not going to survive. So with the best of treatment also, they didn't do well. So this is a recent example. So this we see in all fields, including orthopedic, including cardiology. Shashank will tell us also in endocrinology and general medicine. Everywhere we see faith works for healing, for making you normal, and yoga tells you to have faith in yourself, to have very positive mind, because I always say that yoga is not a few postures alone. It's a complete way of life, and in that disciplined mind and total faith in ourselves. So when you start your day saying that I have got a very strong body and mind, and start your day, it certainly gives you that strength to keep the disease away also. Thank you.
I'm going to be posing a very please.
One line. The biggest pharmaceutical company on the earth is inside the body, free, and yoga awakens it all the time, and that this awareness is something we need to have.
So now the question which will come to you is a little stimulating and I would say a little challenging also. So we say that there is Hatha Yoga, there is Bhakti Yoga, there is Shakti Yoga, there is Gyan Yoga, there is Raj Yoga. How many of you doctors here literally walk the talk? I want the audiences to know that they have faith in action as well and they do yoga every day.
I do pranayam every day. and I'm reading about Samkhya Yoga. Samkhya Yoga talks about gunas and the Purusha. And as compared to Western psychology, which talks about mind, the Purusha talks about consciousness.
Yes.
And that is something I'm really getting into. In my family, most of us do pranayam. My wife does the full thing. She has been trained at your institute also. And what is important is that I spread the science of yoga across my faculty openly and through my own practice. I'm going to delve very deep on Avdhani Kala and a lot of indigenous knowledge which has been lost across centuries. Pranayam helped me to keep my calm, and it helped me to be aware of my feelings. I do not get emotionally hijacked. I can see my thoughts, my feelings, but once in a while I lose it. But Mickey Mehta is a good examiner. He started with simple questions, one-line answers, fill in the blanks. Now he's now he's posing a little good, very nice. We are enjoying it.
Thank you. So from what you said, Haji, ek baat, Raviji, from what you says brings one very great anecdote to my mind. सांस से बने स्वर, स्वर से बने सूर, सूर से बने संगीत और संगत में संगीत बने तो हम हो जाए तरंगीत. Very good, very good, very good. So Ravi ji.
Well, as a pediatrician, I hope I stay young forever. Because my aim in life is to keep as far away from Dr. Ambedkar and Dr. Shah and Dr. Mamtura, because they are all related to lifestyle diseases, age-related diseases. The only hope and the only way I can stay as young as possible, in mind primarily, and probably secondarily in my body also, is yoga as a way of life. And believe me, my wife and I both do yoga. Of course, we do some exercise as well, not for muscle building, but for cardiac purpose. But primarily, we do yoga for the last 25, 30 years. And it keeps me not getting irritated with the crying babies and worried moms. But that becomes really the bane of a pediatrician. If you don't love babies, you can't be a pediatrician. And you have to have a crying baby all the time. Someone, that's the faith they have in me. When they see my face, they start crying. And that crying starts at birth. And with every visit to my clinic, babies cry. And my job is to keep them from crying, stop from crying, and they go happily. And yoga really helps me a lot, and I can say that without any hesitation. Thank you.
Yes, Shashankji.
You are awesome. The way you communicate, we have to learn from you. Yoga, we should practice what we preach. And I think all of us strongly here on this panel are firm believers of Hansa Madam, and she has led the way. We have tried to integrate yoga as a part of our life. Probably our ancestors did it. We lost it somewhere down the line. And now she has shown us the light to live it every day. And that's so important, because as medical doctors, we are actually inflicted by a lot of negativity, a lot of stress, poor work-life balance. And what yoga does is a great leveler. It allows us to build us resilience in the mind. It allows us to handle our body, to react not impulsively, but wisely. And I think make some decisions for somebody else in a very correct and appropriate way. So I think yoga is a way of life, but allows particularly healthcare professionals to become resilient, strong, not only just physically, stay healthy, live long, but also gives them peace, calm, happiness. And it's all about spreading love and happiness. And that's what Hansa Madam has taught us. And that's what we do. And Mickey ji, you are, so exuberant, so that exuberance and vibrancy is infectious. But Ma's love for all of us and blessings are always there with us. And she has taught us the way that we should practice what we preach. And that's what we do. And we are happy that we can stay healthy so that we can help others.
I think Ma's glow, which we can see from the screen, is very infectious, vibrant, and radiant also. Ma, my next question comes to you because I want more pearls of wisdom coming out of you. So it is said that death has no right on life, Death is a culmination of diseases, and the diseases are culmination of your choices. The forces of entropy, where the tendency of orderliness breaks into disorderliness, time, matter, space, light, motion, mass, causation, effect, gravity, they reduce us, bring disorder, disease, decay, and death. But through Ma's lovely heart and mind, I would like to hear how a man can have Ichha Mrityu or Ichha Jivan, or in Jainism they call it Sandhar.
Mickey, you are taking the whole discussion in a very different direction. But
But
still,
not only you are capable of saying this, yeah.
No, I know. One thing I would make it very much clear, that there is no link between disease and death. First of all, don't connect that link. Disease is because somewhere we are doing mistakes in life, somewhere we don't know our own body, our mind, somewhere our awareness was poor, somewhere we were doing mistakes either in food, in routines, in rest, sleep, and in activities, breathing, walking, and all that. Diseases, we are not born to suffer in life, let me tell you. We are born to enjoy every moment of our life, because life is given to us as a gift. We didn't ask whether we want to be born or not. So we are here. So first of all, don't link disease with that. The moment disease comes, person should become alarmed. The way in which I am living my life, where I am doing mistakes, correct those mistakes, try and see that you organize yourself and improve yourself. And that's it, and get better. And certain things you have to accept, the wear and tear of joints, as Dr. Mamtora is putting on. Okay, ejection fraction is little less, so don't try and climb the mountain. Certain limitations we will have to accept as we grow old. But it's not a disease. Death is a result of birth. The moment we are born, we are going to die. And death and birth goes on in our body all the time, all the cells, and so on. So that part is very much clear. So we don't have to think about disease and that. Disease improve. No disease should be there in your system. But except if at all body is gone into a bad thing. Death is, there is nothing like death, because after death you are born again. After birth you are going to die again. So that fear of death and all such should be just out. It is sure and it is going to come. When it comes, you don't have any idea, so live your life properly. Accept the time factor, understand that you value your time, and live in present and not remain in past to waste your time. Don't go in future too much big planning. Plan for a day and little future if at all. But live life like that with zest and enthusiasm. Life goes very smoothly. As far as consciousness is concerned, reaching to the higher reality is concerned, that inner journey automatically takes place. You don't have to put too much effort there. Effort you have to put at this area, developing awareness. And then things go very smoothly, because unnecessarily you will not think. You will think only if you have to do action, otherwise your mind is calm. Automatically the reflection of consciousness is there in your mind all the time. So automatically the person is very much in tune with his higher reality. So somewhere we have to live a life. So I don't talk more about that, because it would be just a talk. It more would be where I have to put effort. So I have to train people to put effort in this direction. Awareness. Yoga is a science of awareness. Yoga is a culture of consciousness. And yoga is an education of subconscious mind. So try and see that you do live in such a way that that becomes your habit. The moment you are taking a long breath, it is your habit now. You don't have to even remind yourself that I have to do pranayama or I have to do asana. Person has to come to that level, slowly, and get your subconscious completely into a rich subconscious, and then calm. Then you can calm yourself down, and you will use your mind only when you need to do your karma action. So that's the way I will put it across. Mickey, you can talk lovingly. You go ahead.
So Ma, this is why the Yoga Institute shines bright. I'll tell you why. There is no Vinyasa Yoga, There is no circus yoga. There is no power yoga. There is no drama yoga. It is Sahaj Saral Yoga. Sahaj Saral Yoga. And Ma's very good book I've read. Yoga at Home. Audience, if you're watching this, if you want to initiate yourself into yoga, this is the first book you must ever buy. Yoga at Home by Ma Hansaji. And I would dream of a day when doctors through their pens on their prescription will write only 4 pillars of wellness. Y, O, G, A, and prescribe only yoga. If they don't achieve anything, then you prescribe medicine. Pharmaceuticals, don't come after me. But if yoga is prescribed as a primary fundamental prescription, we can have this world free of medicine. And I would request Ma to start this abhiyan, that yoga should be the first medicine.
No, but understand that world cannot be free from medicine. Everything has its own place. Keep it where it belongs to. Sometimes things happen, you fall down, you fracture. Now, you will need some medicine there. You can't take away your mind so quickly from your body. So, gradually, we have to reach to that level, but till then, they need it. So, everything has its own place. But yes, doctors have to see that when they prescribe, they say that, come on, medicine will help you temporarily. If you want to get help permanent, and you should follow the path of yoga, learn how to live properly. Yoga is a way of life, what the Yoga Institute teaches. So, yes.
Very nice, very nice. Now I think I'm coming to a very controversial area, but it's very important for doctors to debate on that. That yoga comes from Sanskriti, and from Sanskriti comes sanskaras. So yoga is responsible for sanskaras for good humans and evolution of mankind. Why shouldn't it be made compulsory in schools? Because it doesn't subscribe to any religion. It is a way of life of the Sanatan Dharma for our Sanskriti, for our sanskaras. So would you doctors join the bandwagon in supporting the cause of making yoga? I would not say compulsory, but I will use the word mandatory. Okay? In schools.
Miki ji, absolutely no two ways about it. It should be mandatory from not only schools, but it should be a way of life in every household on planet Earth. Because we are in Vasudeva Kutumbam. And in Vasudeva Kutumbam, way of life is something which our ancestors have taught. It is the oldest way of life, which is evidence-based for us to keep us happy and healthy. And it is the only way we can fight our mind, body, and soul. So I not only subscribe that yoga should be mandatory in schools, but it should be mandatory at home, in every human household, for their own well-being, for their own self-realization, for their own health, and for their own well-being and happiness.
Sir, very well said. Sir, very well said. Other doctors?
Absolutely, I agree with him. And I've been, the prescription of yoga has been on my pen for the last 30 years, and it continues. Just like mathematics is compulsory, geography is compulsory, history is compulsory, why not yoga? In the sense that you don't object to English, Hindi, Sanskrit, or Sanskriti object, English, Hindi, science and maths. Why not yoga? Why not yoga? So I think it's though Patanjali did not say that I invented yoga. No Indian rishi has invented anything. So we are a little mild and meek when we talk about yoga. But I think the time has come that we pick up this gauntlet and preach a science which is useful for the entire world very vociferously. There is no sin, there's no shame, there's no guilt. And that I think is extremely important for opinion makers, doctors, philosophers, scientists, teachers, to talk about yoga without any inhibition, without any guilt, without any shame. Shame towards our indigenous science has killed a lot of science. Let's kill shame and spread the word.
I think Ma should take the leadership to take this forward, that yoga to be taught in every school for the evolution of mankind. Yes, other doctors, please.
Yeah, whatever I have seen is yoga being taught in some schools. My wife, who is a yoga teacher from Yoga Institute itself, and has worked as yoga teacher in a school for several years, and her experience was extremely good. Because this was, it was they didn't call it mandatory, but each student was taught. And later on, what was seen was these students, they even contact her today when they have passed school, they are in colleges, or some of them have finished colleges also, that we are missing that. And then she has to tell them that whatever you have learned, you have to continue. That was not only for that, because generally what the schools did was, when the child went to the 10th standard, because of the burden of a lot of studies, they said, no, now the child is free not to go for yoga, and only till students till 9th were given that. So those students also, while they're in 10th, they kept contacting her, that many of them, that we have continued that, and that is helping us. It is helping us in everyday life. It is helping us in our examinations also, and in future education. So this has to be, these people should become aware of this. What are the students' reactions? And then there will be no resistance for making yoga mandatory in schools. Because when they see the benefits from students themselves, certainly that will be helpful.
Yes.
Very nice. Ma, please comment on this subject, that yoga for students made mandatory?
I would say it has to be taught. I mean, yes. I would even use the word compulsory. Unfortunately, what has happened that people have misunderstood this word yoga. It is a science, as you made it very much clear, Dr. Harish Shetty, that mathematics 2 + 2 4. Yoga also is a science. You calm your mind down and you will definitely be thinking correctly. Or you take a long breath and your body will have better oxygen, your immunity will be high. Now, what is wrong in this? If they are objecting to word Om, don't use the word Om. Do pranayam, breathe in and just do humming. It doesn't make any difference. But we are supposed to see that every child learns yoga. And yoga has to be mandatory. Prani Matra, it is mentioned very clearly, yoga is for Prani Matra. So I am very much keen that yoga has to go to school. We have written even nice curriculum right from the first standard till 12th standard, how we should teach. Child should be made to think that when he got angry, what happened to him? Or when he was running and coming back, how his breath was. And how now when he calms down, how his breath is. All such experiences child should get, so that child starts, molding his life well. Yoga helps in concentration. Yoga helps in memory. That when we talk about all these things, every parent would like to have, every child would like to learn. Only schools have to take the lead. And so I'm very much keen that every school, all the principals and teachers first, they should learn yoga and see to it. And all the parents have to learn yoga. And very rightly, in the family, culture of yoga should be there, so that child right from birth watches the things happening. So that's my very strong opinion. Yeah.
Superb. So Prani Matra, Bhul ka Patra, or Yog Matra, Shuddhata, or Niyantran ka Patra. So because, yeah. So, now we come to the most important, curtain down, that on the 102nd Yog Divas, Founders Day of the Yoga Institute. So gratitude, longitude, attitude, latitude comes with the Yoga Institute. And the wonderful thing which they are bringing up back to life through an app is meditation, Spandan. I would want every doctor to comment that how meditation can change, transform, transcend. जैसे हम हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, परिवर्तन, रूपांतरित, प्रगति. तो वो ऐप के जरिए से, ऐप के द्वारा हम कैसे, how can we illuminize the whole world? And what are your comments on meditation? Please. Shetty sahab, aapka mic band hai.
Me and Dr. N.S. Vaiya long ago had conducted a research trial on meditation and anxiety based on principles of yoga, and we found it was very useful. Second is the recent research study by the Minister of Education conducted at the Shailesh Gandhi Institute of Management in IIT showed that students had better interpersonal relationships, they were happier, and their grades improved. Very, very, very clear research done very recently. I would say meditation brings the hypothalamo-pituitary adrenal axis, resets it. I should use some medical words, otherwise you'll say I'm not a doctor.
You should. But that is proven.
And it stops the steroid rain and resets the stress axis. Meditation and yoga is a beautiful adjuvant in severe depression and the treatment for stress and mild depression. Meditation and yoga is just getting aware of your cosmic self. And that is not a luxury, that is a necessity if you're traveling on this earth for several decades. And that, I think, is very, very important. And lastly, it should not become a ritual. It should be joy. That is important.
Other doctors, please.
Yeah, meditation actually, what it does certainly to you is I was saying in the beginning that we get influenced by the external things, and then that is how our mind gets corrupt, and then that is how the disease starts. Meditation actually trains you not to get affected by this, not to get influenced by the external stimuli. And therefore, when I learned meditation, that was about 30 years back, initially we were told what to do. For meditation exactly is what and what you do. Later on, we were taught that, okay, now you are learning. Now you don't have to sit and meditate. You be in meditative state all the time. That means if I am seeing a patient, that time I am seeing a patient. That time I don't think that, oh, my wife will shout at me when I go late at home, etc., etc. If I am driving, I am driving. I am not that time not thinking of anything else. I be totally in present. I do that job very well. Not get influenced by other thoughts also. That is being in meditative state all the time. And when we do that, then certainly being in present, enjoying the present, that is how we can have good life, and that keeps us away from all the external bad influences. Thank you.
Shashank sir. Ravi sir.
So we are living in a world where we need to separate ourselves from a animal kingdom and a vegetative state into a human transcendent state. And I think that switch occurs through meditation. Meditation is the path which allows us to transcend up. It is the path which resets our metabolism. It is the right way to reset our lifestyle. Most of the diseases which we talk, like diabetes, thyroid, hormonal conditions, as an endocrinologist, which I see every day, they are all because of a disordered lifestyle. They are all because we are trying to go back to a vegetative state of disordered life. So I think meditation is the one which puts an order to life, order to our metabolism, order to our endocrinology, order to our hormonology, and actually resets our biological clocks. See, right there deep, we have our pineal gland. As people call it, Shiva's third eye. And I think it is resetting that biological clock. And meditation is nothing but rewiring our cells, rewiring our mind, rewiring our soul, and resetting our biological clock. And that is why yoga should be a way of life, so that we can reset our clocks and our metabolism and live a healthy life with a lot of smile, a lot of positivity and vibrancy, like the way Mickey ji effuses and Hansa ji blesses.
One line comes to my mind, that meditation is a yatra from Pashu to Purush. From Pashu to Purusha. It's a journey. And I think, Ma Hansaji, on a parting note, if you speak a little more about Spandan, because me voluntarily, and I'm sure all these doctors, we will become the ambassadors of Spandan, because we want Spandan to reach the world. So Dhyan became Dhyan and Dhyan became Zen in China. But Spandan will be exported worldwide, and I'm sure Chinese people will start downloading Indian app called Spandan and worldwide. And we pledge our loyalty. So Ma, please, your last final words, Ma.
No, I thought Dr. Mamtora wanted to say something. No?
Okay, please.
Nothing, Dr. Chikkal?
And even Ravi was putting his hands up. And
Nothing. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Hansaji, please go ahead.
Well, very rightly said that from animals we become humans, and from humans we have to become godly. And when we come to that godlyhood state, that is the state when a human is there living into his meditative state. We very strongly say that to learn meditative techniques, you have to sit in meditative pose, sit your back straight, head straight, calm yourself down, watch your breath, and see that no other thought comes. Nispandan. No other thought comes. No spandan in your mind. No thought. So mind is totally pure. Just a blank run. Then only the godly state is experienced. Now this has to happen. And this is done by practice. So first you sit and do the meditation. But then you can do, as Dr. Ambadekar mentioned, and very rightly he said, that whatever you are doing, you should be in a meditative state to do the job. You are thinking only when required, otherwise mind is nispanda. So this is a beautiful state, and slowly, person will be able to uplift himself. So it just needs practice. Practice makes man more perfect. You have to practice little, sitting also at one place, and then doing whatever work you are doing, very focused way with one pointedness. They say that ek tattva abhyasa, ek tattva. So one thought in the mind and move and do your job well. So that's it. So it was lovely, Vicky. Take over.
So life's biggest question in the modern world is Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Madha, Maya, Matsara. And the answer to that is one word, Nispan.
Yes. Very true.
So each one of us has the potential to become a Shiva, a Muhammad, a Buddha, a Zarathustra, a Krishna, a Christ. Let's embrace the Yoga Institute principles, Saral Sahaj Yoga, and let's become ambassadors and promoters of Nispan, because Nispan will have the potential to reach 7 billion minds, 7 billion hearts, and 7 billion souls. Thank you very much.
Namaste, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, the Yoga Institute. Thank you, doctors. Thank you.
thank you, everybody.
Get maximized your get optimized your get naturalized, exercise, let your life get Mickey-mized, 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 Mickey-mized.